And just a friendly reminder, if you are looking for science-based powerlifting programming, look no further than the Team Roar training app. You can find the link to it in the episode description and also get 25% off of your first month using discount code all capital PL Ballads podcast. Happy training.
Welcome to episode 213. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
I know, right? Life has been lifing. It's been
It
crazy.
has. You're out in Cali, right?
I'm out in Cali right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's sunny all the time.
That's crazy.
I know, it's kind of nice, gonna
It's been
say.
raining here pretty much every day.
I know, I keep getting storm alerts like all the time. I'm like, oh, there's wind damage. I'm like, no, not here.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but last I talked to you, you were maybe going to buy a car in another state. Did that work out?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
it was like the worst of both worlds, like possibility because we had to fly to uh so the whole family was going. It wasn't just like me flying out to get it. So we
Right.
the whole family flew to Maryland, bought the car, and then drove the rest of the way to Ohio, and then drove all the way home from Ohio. So it worked out.
Oh, well, well, good. Good for you. And you got the car you
Yeah.
wanted with the
Yep.
options you wanted or didn't want.
Yep.
And yeah, nice. Wow. I was wondering how that was going to work. Yeah, because I'm having some issues right now around titling a car that was from Florida and now bringing it over to Georgia. It's boy, what a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well,
Different state.
I'm hoping the dealership does all that crap because we basically gave them the power of attorney or whatever to do all that crap for us. So
Hmm.
I don't know if that's what it's called, but anyway,
Yeah,
we got the
nice.
family mobile now, so
There you
all the
go.
kids and everybody can ride in one car.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
So I guess we really should talk about powerlifting, though.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, let's start with this. We hit 25,000 listeners or downloads, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if that's good or
Wow.
bad, but it sounds like a lot.
25,000 downloads. That's a lot for both of our listeners to keep doing.
I know they
I
must
mean,
have
that's,
like what's the math on that? They most both have 12,000
yeah,
and
about
five hundred
12,500. Yeah, they kept
downloads each.
downloading the same episode over and over and over.
They must have like hundreds of devices.
Nice. Well, yeah, thank you to our listeners. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who knew? People listen? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So Korean Nationals were this past weekend, and they had four pro card winners out of that meet, the men's masters division. I'm not going to try to say these names because I'm going to mess them up, but we'll just go last name, I guess. Yam, I think is how you say that, had a 454 age adjusted dots in the men's masters division and won a pro card. In the open division, last name Lee was first in the 90 kilo class, had a 518 dots. Wonho Kim was first in the 100 kilo class and had a 501 dots. And then last name Kim again had a different guy, had a first place in the 67 and a half kilo class with the 501 dots. So the threshold for the men to win a pro card was 500 dots. So those two came in just over that. And in the Masters division for the men, the threshold was 425 age adjusted dots. There were no women that hit the minimum threshold, but we will mention the best lifters. The male junior division did not have pro card associated with it, but best lifter had a 460 dots, last name Kim. Female junior, Shaylin Lee had a 338 dots. Female Masters, Sumi Kim had a 387 age adjusted dots. And in the female open, Katie Lee had a 459 dots. And for the open division, the women needed a 475 minimum dots to hit the pro card. So she's right there, but just didn't quite hit that minimum standard. So from everything I've seen, it looked like it was a really good meet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So is that a USA Powerlifting Korean Nationals?
Yep.
Nice.
That was. It was in, and that's, I believe, I'm not sure what city it was in, but that is going to be the location of the IDFPA World Championships that are going to be in December this year. I think they're in Seoul, South Korea.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, should be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
The NGB notice came out, so we know now who is running for president, executive committee, all those things. There are five candidates for president. We did interview all five of them. So if you have not listened to the presidential interview episodes, they are episode 206 through 210. And then episode 211 was Heather Foss, the executive director, and episode 212 was Larry Maley, the current president who's stepping down. So if you want to get some insight into the role of president and then hear from the presidential candidates, I do suggest everybody listen to that. I am a little biased because we obviously hosted these, but I think it gives a lot of good insight to everybody's opinions and what their thought process is with what the role of president is, but also like what their vision is as if they are to be elected president. So I think those are good listens.
I know that on the executive committee that there were two positions that are available, and the names that come up for that. It's Eric Cordero. Am I ever saying that right?
It doesn't matter. It's
Ah,
Eric.
I'm
No, it's
sorry,
Eric.
Eric.
Eric Cordero.
Ah, so it was close. Eric
Yeah,
Cordero. I can't even say it. I'm just going to skip it. There you
yeah.
go.
Eric C.
Eric C. Katie Dodge, Dane Roach, Donovan Thompson, and Wes Sunker that are running for two positions.
Yep. I think those are all qualified candidates. I think they're all very much involved, been involved for a long time, and
Mhm.
uh, yeah, I think regardless of who gets elected, I think those are all good picks. Obviously Katie Dodge is on our team, so I want to give her the old nod. But everybody on that list, I think are great people.
Right. And Eric is the incumbent right now. So,
Yep.
all right. And for athletes representatives, there are three positions, and there are 10 people running for those three positions. So, that's that's a fun one. And all the oh God, I can't talk today. All of the athlete,
Welcome back. Back to the status quo.
all of the athletes representatives voting is held online. That's what I'm trying to say. Wow, that was hard. Oof.
Life is hard. Yeah, so every member will get to vote for athletes reps, whereas like for the EC and president, it's only the voting members of the NGB. So for the athletes reps, every single member will get a link to vote online.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And athletes reps get to vote, so that is why you also want to consider them as part of your vote.
Yeah. So you were an athletes rep for a while. What was
I was
what's the athletes rep do?
uh they represent athletes. I know. So anytime an athlete has a question or a concern about how something works, or if they think something wasn't handled correctly, they could come to an athlete's rep and get questions answered or situations brought up to the executive committee to get resolved.
Good deal. Then for the honorary awards, there are three people up for Brother Bennett Award, four people up for Coach of the Year. There was only one person nominated for Female Athlete of the Year, who I think should win regardless if every single member was nominated. May Angeli Sagul. I'm not sure how you say her name, but she won the Pro Series the last 2 years in the Open division. So I don't think there's anybody more deserving the Female Athlete of the Year than her. So it works out that she's the only one nominated. There were three people nominated for Male Athlete of the Year and five people nominated for Referee of the Year. So
Nice.
I like seeing a lot of people nominated. That's good. That means people are paying attention, and it's good to give recognition, even if you don't win. Like just to be nominated, I think is a big
Yeah,
deal. So, I think
right.
that's cool.
Now, when it comes to those titles, is it the NGB that votes for those, or is that athletes that get to vote for
Fuck,
that?
I knew you were gonna ask that.
Damn it. Sorry.
Yeah. So all the honorary awards are voted online by the voting members of the NGB. So the same people that get to vote for president, executive committee, etc. And then every single member gets to vote for the um, athletes representatives online. So that's
Nice.
how that works.
So, a regionals registration update as of yesterday. Nope. Yep, as of yesterday. In the West, there's 300 lifters. It's sold out. Midwest is 277 lifters. It's pretty much a lot. Um,
Pretty much. That's pretty much a lot.
It's pretty much a lot. I mean, that sounds like a Midwestern thing to say. Uh, Southwest, y'all have 186. Oh, Southwest, that's not y'all. God, just scrap me today. Just edit this entire episode. Southwest, 186 lifters. Northeast is 500 lifters sold out. Nice. I love seeing regional sold out like that. That's awesome. And then in the Southeast, which is October 18th to 19th, is the Southeast, and y'all have 158 lifters. Come on, Southeast.
I know, man. We're still bringing up the rear at 158 lifters. Like,
It's October. Yeah.
it's October, but still, like, people are just, I don't know. What's going to happen is it's going to go from like 158 to like 500 in like 2 weeks in like another month or two.
That's
And
how it
then
works.
meet directors are going to be like, oh, what the F? And be super stressed out.
That's what happens. Yeah.
That's what happens.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
All right. So here's the powerlifting situation. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So you're on the platform, set up under your opener, and then you realize your belt is on the wrong hole. Do you stop and fix it, or do you try to lift anyway?
Yeah. So it depends on how much time is left on the clock because if the clock's running down, you're going to end up timing out if you try to adjust it. So you're just gonna have to roll with it. But assuming you got out there pretty quick after the bar was called loaded and you have not received the squat command yet, then I would re-rack it. And the belt is the only piece of equipment that you can adjust on the platform. So it's not like you have to leave the platform to make the adjustment. I would literally just rack it, adjust it real quick, and then unrack again and get set up and get the squat command and roll. Um, you know, that depends on, the main two factors to consider there are how much time's left on the clock and, that only works if you have not received the squat command yet. If they already said squat, then you're locked in, you have to go.
Right.
So,
Yep.
that's what I would do.
Yep. I agree. Because the thing's going to be if you were to miss it, you're going to sit there and wonder if it was the belt.
Yeah.
So might as well, if you have time, fix it.
Yep. I agree.
Oh, I'm glad you agree with me for once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the new lifter tip is don't try anything new on meet day. All right. So the mistake is wearing new gear or trying new food, supplements, or warm-up protocols. Like, just don't do that on meet day.
Yeah.
Just
Try it
stick with
ahead of
what you've
time
done.
in training. If you want to do it at meet day, try it ahead of time.
Yeah. And I would make it part of your habit ahead of time, not just like try it once ahead of time.
Right.
But it needs to be part of your habit because once you have those habits, they're established. They're part of your routine. They're kind of like a cozy, snug blanket that you get to put on, right? It's just your routine. It feels good.
That's exactly how I think about routine is warm, snuggly blanket.
I think you're messing with me.
I am.
Okay. Well,
I didn't think it was that subjective. It was meant to be pretty obvious I was messing with you.
anyway, Josh making fun of me. That's what happens. That's normal. It's fine. But it is. It's like a cozy warm blanket. Like habit is just like it's familiarity. It's that it reduces your stress and just, I don't know, makes you feel more confident. One less thing to think about.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, the more automatic you can make everything, the better.
yep.
Yep. So I have a shout out to give to my high school alma mater, Waynedale High School in Apple Creek, Ohio. They won the Division 5 state championship in baseball on Sunday, and it was their third state title in 4 years, and it's only the third state title in school history. So
Wow.
uh, yeah, pretty big deal. I saw all my friends are posting about it and stuff like that. I never played baseball in high school, but I'm always supporting the old alma mater. So big shout out to them.
Nice. I mean, it's obviously because you went to high school there.
Yeah, of course. The Golden Bears, baby.
Golden Bears.
Yep.
That's what they're called, the Golden Bears.
Wayndale Golden Bears. Yep,
Because Golden Bears sounds so fierce.
they are.
Obviously. I mean, yeah, fierce.
Yeah.
So this would be when I talk about random bee shit. a BS. But um, so I'll just relay something that happened last week. So I am traveling this week, and I left. I inspected my beehives really thoroughly. Like everything looked good. There were a lot of queen cells. So the queen cells means the bees are thinking about making another queen, which means half of them are thinking about leaving, and then another queen would be born out of the queen cells that get left. And then when that new queen is born,
It
she
eats
would
the
go
other
around,
ones.
yeah, and kill the other
Yeah.
queens.
Yep.
So,
See, I
um,
remember I was listening last time.
ha, no way. So, my I left. I inspected everything. It looked good. I left, traveling, and I get a phone call from my house sitter, um, saying, "Hey, the bees are doing something really crazy. I can hear them from the driveway." And anytime you can hear bees like 30 yards away, something's not good. So they had decided to swarm. So they must have already had that in their head, like, oh no, hey, we're leaving. So they all start getting really, really excited. They start like a, a, a bunch of them will pick up and start like swarming around in the air, and it's super loud. And then they all went and clustered up in a tree. And I got video of it, and I was like, oh, that's great. All my bees have just left. They usually leave like 40%, 30% back at home, so they can make a new queen. And they can create new queen cells super quick. Like if they're like, yeah, we think we're leaving anyway, in a couple days they can do all this. So all of my bees were up in a tree. So I had my house sitter put out a new box and spray it with bee attractant and put it out. And before she was able to do that, they started leaving their swarm. Usually they're there for hours, if not, sometimes they can stay there for days up in that tree trying to, what they do is they start sending out the scout bees. I think I've talked about this before. And they didn't even have time to do that. And then they all decided to move back home.
Hmm.
And they all swarmed and went back in the box.
So no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul.
All right.
I think kind of hard to tell without opening up all the boxes. They might have gone back. They might have gone into the new box, but based on the video after, it looks like business as usual. It was just really odd, but we're not going to be able to tell until she gets in there and opens up the boxes just a little bit to peek inside. It's hard when you go out of town and you can't touch your boxes for a while. Like anything could happen, and what are you going to do? Normal house sitters aren't going to go into your bee boxes and do a bee inspection. I've
Probably
gotten my
not.
sitter to open up the boxes just enough on top to be able to feed them, and look inside, but that's all she's gonna do. And that's pretty much pushing it right there, because a lot of people won't even step inside my garden with the bee boxes there because they're just like,
Yeah,
ah,
I wouldn't. I'd be like, I quit.
well, you wear a jacket.
I don't care.
You've done the bee experience once. Why are you scared?
I never did the bee experience.
You didn't do it.
Nope.
Did Hope do it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
I
so.
see. I didn't
I don't
realize you
know.
were.
I probably would have. I probably would have if I had the suit. But like that's the thing though. I would be relying on my own uh I'd be relying on my own know-how to put the suit on properly, which I would not feel confident that I didn't leave something like unzipped somewhere where the bees can get in.
That is the thing sometimes, because like there's a zip on my hood, and like at some point, if you're like, oh, there was a 1 inch gap in my hood, and then you close it, and then you keep hearing bees like nearby, and of course you're going to. You're like, is it in my hood or is it out of my
Yeah.
hood? But
Yeah,
every
see,
time it's been out.
I don't know. I'd probably just like have a bunch of duct tape all over top of every zipper just to make sure it's covered.
Oh, nice. I mean, it is a one-piece jacket, so if you keep everything zipped, you're good. You just slip it on. Right on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my bees left, and then they came back.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, there you go.
sorry they left. Congrats they came back.
I guess. Like, why do they do that? I don't know. No idea. I'm sure a master beekeeper could tell me why. So I think I asked one once because we had this happen. The same thing happened like 3 years ago, and he was like, "Yeah, they're a box of bugs. They're gonna do what they want." Like, okay. Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
We don't know. We can't ask them.
That's man, that's like Master Beekeeper has a lot of parallels to like powerlifting coach. Like, oh, your squat was high. Oh, squat lower.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just do it. Um, so the other thing I wanted to bring up on this, because this is powerlifting and power ballads, right? Is that when I was traveling, I fly Delta all the time because, I'm from Atlanta. I know you are too, but I'm a Delta girl. Um, you know, once you reach medallion status, you just stay. So anyway, I was on Delta watching one of those God, I can't talk. I'm on Delta traveling, and I was watching one of those movies, and I watched a documentary on Yacht Rock, and
No way.
it was amazing. It was so good.
What was it called? I got to see this.
I think it was called Music Box. I guess Music Box does a series of documentaries on music genres, and I was Music Box Yacht Rock, and then it said a documentary like DOCK, like a boat documentary. And it kind of talked about how Yacht Rock got its name, kind of how Steely Dan was like the ground zero of Yacht Rock, because of the jazz influence, um, and influence from black musicians, and just kind of like who was considered really yacht rock, who wasn't, kind of the history of how they all kind of like there was so many artists that worked on each other's albums, and like there was all this like it was like an artist community. It was a kind of like a happening, not that was all happening pretty much in California. And you know how Michael McDonald worked on Steely Dan, then he went to the Doobies Brothers, then he had his own solo career, and then Kenny Loggins with Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins over here, like they all overlapped, like Toto, Criss Cross, just a ton of artists, and they all worked on each other's stuff, and it was super interesting. Like some of the stories about how Christopher Cross wrote. Sailing when he was depressed in an afternoon. Um, there was another song, I can't remember the name of the song right now, that he wrote while he was tripping balls driving in Texas. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know Chris Cross was into that. And he talks about how he basically supported himself by selling a lot of weed. And that's how he did all his recording. And I'm like, wow, I just have a whole new outlook on yacht rock, which I already loved as a genre, truthfully, because it's just like that feel good music that you can always listen to, and it kind of makes me feel like I don't know, it's like comfort food, kind of in a way for me. Like you can always sing to it. It reminds me of my childhood, and um, it's just good stuff. Um, Songs that Toto wrote that Michael Jackson ended up recording. Who knew? I
What?
know that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's the name of that song? You're a Michael Jackson fan. What's that song?
I don't know.
Human Nature. So Toto wrote the song Human Nature. They didn't explicitly write it for Michael Jackson. They actually wrote it for themselves, the guy from Toto, but he played it for the band, and they were like, eh. So he gave it to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson put it on his album, and it was one of his hits.
Hmm.
So Africa was on side B. They didn't even like the song. They were not going to even include it in their album. Africa's like, the Toto
That's like what
song.
they're yeah, that's like what they're
Yeah.
known for.
But they also got punked for, it's such a song written by a bunch of white guys that have never been to Africa, clearly based on the lyrics. So they got punked for that. But, being the time period, nobody really cared that much. So it was really interesting, and they brought in some contemporary artists that talked about how yacht rock kind of influenced them as artists, and it was really good.
Hmm.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Awesome. Yeah, I have to check that out. I don't, is it on like, is it streaming anywhere or is it just
I don't know. I don't know if it was just on the Delta thing. It didn't seem like it was one of the exclusive to Delta type of things, but
okay.
so part of the Music Box series.
Hmm.
I'll tell you that.
Awesome. I never even heard of the Music Box series, so
I hadn't either, but I'm a
yeah.
fan of yacht rock, so I saw that in the title. I'm like, all right, I got three
Yeah.
hours to kill. Let's go.
All right. I'll look for it. That sounds cool.
Yeah. So there you go. That's all I got. Good luck editing this episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man, what it sounds like after the
yeah.
editing. Or I
Yeah.
could just leave it all in. And
Yeah. And fix your mic, man, because it's doing it again.
what the crap, man.
Get a cheap ass headset like me. I know you've got lapel mics.
I have a whole bunch, but this one sounds the best when it works.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just gotta
for
fix
sure.
the cable. Is it
Mm.
back?
Yeah.
All right, let's sign off before it goes out again.
Yeah, right. All right, Josh. It was great seeing you. You're already going out again.
All right. Well,
Bye now. We're wrapped.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.